people squeamish,
Aren't ya?
so this is essentially...
Woo, that was like right away.
I know. Oh, where is my lube? Hello, welcome to Sage and Stone Homestead. My name is Heather. So we are probably about less than 2 weeks away from kidding season. This is being filmed on the 22nd of January and our first due date is February 5th. So I really need to get my kidding kit put back together. Usually by the end of kidding season, everything is kind of exploded and all over the place, and today is no exception. Now I kind of have two kidding seasons that happen here on our homestead because I like to have winter milk. So we will have the regular old spring kidding, but we also have a smaller but equally as important to be organized for fall kidding season. The fall kidding season is done and I didn't really have to use much of my kit. I keep looking over here because my kit is over here. So it's probably not too bad as far as organization goes, but I need to make sure that everything is as it needs to be, because if something goes wrong during kidding, the worst thing is to be unorganized or to not know what to do. We won't wish anything to go wrong, but it's really good to be prepared. So what I'm gonna put in my box of tricks, I guess it is my box of tricks box, is stuff that I need, that I really want to have on hand, but I don't necessarily need to bring it down to the goat barn with me. This is my birth bag. This comes down to the barn with me when the goats are in labor. This is stuff that I really need to have on hand rapidly during a birth. Got these puppy pads. This particular batch I think was given to me by my friend Dee. I have in the past barely ever used these. I have a lot of them. As I mentioned, they were given to me. My go-to has been just old towels, but my friend Megan uses these to dry off the babies and she says they work really well. So this is what I'm going to use this year because I've got a bunch. All right, so I've pulled everything out so we can just pack it with the things that I know that I'm going to need. So this is one of the little organizer baskets that I keep on hand. It's good for all the little things to go in. First things first, going in the small things basket is a thermometer. Always good to have, especially if you're concerned that a baby goat may be hypothermic or running too cold. You can verify that they are truly hypothermic by taking their temperature. A trick that doesn't take a thermometer is to put your finger inside the baby goat's mouth. If it feels warm, then they're probably fine. If it feels cold, they're probably not fine. That works very well. This is just a confirmation. And I have these. This makes some people squeamish, so I figured I would explain it before I inevitably have to use it in a kidding video and freak some of you out. This is called a nose Frida. Now I'm a mother of 4. I have a few of these. I did use these for my children. In my opinion, it's better than those bulb syringes unless you replace those bulb syringes very frequently, because when they suck stuff up, it stays very humid inside of that bulb, even if you clean it out, and it can harbor some pretty nasty like molds and things. And so these are much cleaner. You just put it in your mouth, put this end in the goat's nose or your child's nose or whatever. I've even put this in goats' mouths before and just literally use your human power to suck it up. These are much more powerful than those bulb syringes, and they come with these little filters in here. It's impossible to suck anything nasty up into your mouth, so I don't worry about that. It's never been a problem here. So I have 2 of these. I'm going to put both of them in here again because they don't take up too much space. And if I'm scrambling looking for this, I probably really need it. So having 2 options is better than 1. In this little bag, I have hand sanitizer and some alcohol prep pads just to sterilize my hands if I need to enter a doe for whatever reason. So I have a scalpel. I unfortunately have had to grab one of these very quickly in the middle of a horrible situation. It's just kind of one of those things that I have in here because I may need it. Hopefully we don't. Got these syringes. These are good for giving the goat a drench of anything. One of the things that I do drench from time to time is this calcium. Calcium is good for muscle function, and the uterus is one great big muscle. And so sometimes if the labor is lagging a little bit, I will push this, especially if the doe is a little bit older. So we're going to shove the calcium in here as well as some syringes. So I've got a walkie-talkie in here so that I can keep a good communication going with my kids. Usually they'll come down and get me if they need anything because the barn is not that far from the house. But this helps them ask me questions or whatever a little bit faster. So I've got that, and that does have good batteries. I might need to order some more of this. This is Achieve Pro. It's a lot like Jumpstart. When a kid is just kind of, they're lagging a little bit behind, they need a little bit of a boost. This is good to give them for that. And I've used it quite a lot, and I probably want another tube. I'll put what I've got in here for now. See, I have these B12s in there. I don't necessarily need this for birth, so I'm gonna stick that in my box. In one of my books, it says it's a good idea to have some cord on hand. I have yet to use this. I'm guessing that this would be great to have on hand if you didn't have something like a kid puller. Sometimes when you have to help a doe and the kids are stuck, you really wish you had 3 hands, and that's impossible, obviously, especially when maybe the mother is small, like a Nigerian dwarf. You can use the cord, make a loop, kind of loop it around like a front foot or something, and then hold that kid still while you use your hand to rearrange the rest of it. Maybe the head is curled back or something. It can be really useful for that. I haven't used it in that way, but I could see how it would be useful, so I'm going to leave that in there. But speaking of kid pullers, I've got 2 different types, and I'm going to show them both to you because I don't necessarily like this one. I have tried a few times to use this kid puller unsuccessfully. I don't know what the issue with it is necessarily. This V shape has been a little bit big, in my opinion, when dealing with small goats like Nigerian dwarves. And it's just been a little bit cumbersome, this particular kid puller, to try to maneuver inside the doe when you're trying to, you know, grab the kid and your hand is in there and you're really constricted. So this I've designated as my backup kid puller. I don't know if I'm ever gonna necessarily need it. I bought this one recently. Somebody suggested that I get it. This is the Kelly's kid puller, and it's a lot better designed. It's very simple design. So this is essentially 2 straws and a cord. A lot smaller. You see there? This is what we're working with. This is a lot easier to handle, and I can imagine that this would be incredibly helpful. So you could go inside the doe should you need. Place this around front limbs, the back of the head with a limb. You don't ever want to just put the kid puller around a neck without like a leg or something in there, just so you don't crush the airway, but put this in there. This is a lot less cumbersome. Tighten the bottom down here and help yourself guide baby out. So this is going to be my main kid puller. This is the one I would suggest you get. Kelly's kid puller. So I've got these clamps here. It's a very rare circumstance where you may have to cut a cord yourself. Oftentimes they just pull and snap, and really that's the best thing. But if you are going to have to cut a cord, it's ideal to put a clamp on the baby's side of the cord, about 1.5 inches in between, and then another clamp on the mama's side, and then cut in between. The clamps are going to stop the blood flow from exiting either animal, and so when you cut it, nobody loses a significant amount of blood. I've got these because that's something I really wouldn't want to have to run inside to get. And then I have my trauma shears for said cutting. Put that in there, and that basket really helps so things don't get lost. A couple different herbs that I keep down in the barn with me during a birth are red raspberry leaf tea. This is an herbal toner, uterine toner. It helps regulate contractions and keep them effective. Goats love loose leaf tea in birth, and they can have as much as they want. And this is comfrey. Oh, that one's red raspberry leaf. I have a comfrey. I guess that can go in there too. This is comfrey. Comfrey is all around good for like wound healing, and I keep it in my bag just for that because birth is traumatic. There's a lot of like bruising and bleeding involved, and comfrey is just always a good thing. That's another thing. I will go inside and pull my book out. There's a book that I like to have on hand with me when I'm in the kidding stall as well. So we need the kid puller, or we'd like to have the kid puller on hand. I bought some new latex gloves. I am not going to bring this entire thing down there with me because it's just not necessary. These are non-sterile, clearly. I also have these. These are sterile, so I'll put them in here. You don't necessarily need everything to be completely sterile, but it was a gift, and these are well packaged, so I'll put them in there. This is good for spraying down or dipping umbilical cords. I like to spray the umbilical cord, so I've got the spray cap to go on there. I'll just set it up right now. There, now it's ready to go. You want to have iodine on hand for spraying or dipping the umbilical cords of the baby. If any kind of bad bacteria gets up there, that is like a clear pathway into their bloodstream. And so you want to, you know, sanitize the area with iodine. But I think more importantly, what this is going to do is really dry that up quickly so that it is not such a clear pathway for things like bacteria. I bought needles earlier because I was running low on them. This is not necessarily for the kidding kit because I can't think of anything that I would want to inject super quickly. I do have oxytocin that I got from my vet, and that needs to be refrigerated. So I'd have to run inside and grab that anyway. So I'm going to put this in the box instead of the bag. Stick in our puppy pads. And have this. So this little thing, it's not necessary. It's just one of those things that I like to have. It's a battery pack for a drill, and we have this this insert that goes over the top. That is a charger, so I can charge things like my GoPro batteries or my phone. This is just for me. I ran inside and I grabbed some snacks that are not expired. It's always a good choice to have snacks and liquid for yourself on hand. Got one Ziploc for clean gloves. Whole bunch of clean gloves going in. And then I'm going to put an empty Ziploc in there. And this is going to act as my trash can. I'm going to shove in some baby wipes in there. When I want to clean up something, but it doesn't necessarily have to be sterilized, I can use these. Always useful. During a birth, this is one of the things that I reach for the most. I have talked this book up a lot, and for good reason. You can find it on Thrift Books for a decent discount. It is kind of expensive. It's worth the money, and it says holistic goat care on the top. You don't necessarily have to keep goats holistically to get a lot of good information out of this book. Arguably, a lot of this information is not super holistic, but it's very, very good information regardless. So I have a couple of bookmarks in here, and I will put that back because when I'm scrambling, I don't want to have to try to look in the index. But we have a few different charts of presentation possibilities in the goat birth. And I promise you, this is not all inclusive. These are just some of the options that babies can present themselves. And this visual is very helpful if you are confused, if you're in there trying to figure out what's going on and you're trying to figure out how to untangle. This kind of helps you see and visualize what may be going on inside the dough. And it also comes with like a whole list of ways that you can most easily untangle these different options and scenarios. This is something good to brush yourself up on before you actually really need it. And in the front of this book, I have my vet's phone number. Because when I am a mess and in like a mental struggle, when something is very stressful, I can't figure out which is my right and my left hand. That's how I am. So to try to look up on Google my vet's phone number is probably too many steps for me to handle well. I was just being honest. And so having my vet's phone number right here in front of me is super helpful for me. And I would suggest it for you too. I'm going to just go through the kidding kit suggestions in this book to make sure that I'm not missing anything. I think I'm good, but I want to make sure. Towels, iodine, scissors, gloves, high energy supplements such as Power Punch or Nutri-Drench. That I don't have. I've got some in the barn, but it's really old, so I will have to put that on my list, my shopping list. A calcium drench. They suggest to have dental floss here, and that's to tie off the cords. Instead of having the dental floss, I have the clamps. Ooh, and lubricant jelly or powder. I didn't have any lube, did I? I have to go get some lube. Where is my lube? Lube is important. Well, I didn't find my big bottle of lube, but I found this, which is the same thing. It's just individual packets of lube, so that's going in. Goodness, if my video doesn't get flagged for the number of times I've said that word. I found a tube of Jumpstart. It needs a cleaning, but it's just like that other little tube of supplement for the babies. Just like that. This one is good for does as well. So I am going to put this in here. I found these longer OB gloves. I've never used these. I could see why this would be helpful. And so these are going to go in. And this is another thing that I have in my kit that is not necessarily going to go in my bag. because it's gonna take up space and just kind of be in the way until I need it. But when I need it, I will have time to go into the house and grab it. But this is a tube feeder, so just in case we've got a baby who is warm enough to eat but isn't unable to eat or suckle for whatever reason, I can push some fluids this way. I've never had to use it, but I don't want to be without it, because when I need it, I'm really gonna need it. I might be forgetting something, but this is why I want to plan ahead of time. I already know that I'm going to need a bottle of OB lube, and I'm going to need a bottle of Nutri-Drench to go in my kit. Nutri-Drench is just kind of one of those things where it's like an energy support. It provides energy and vitamins and minerals and stuff to really help give a doe a boost. If any of you have been through labor before, it's a lot like pregnant moms being given honey. It gives us kind of like a calorie boost, a carb boost, energy, minerals, same kind of thing. For all I know, goats could have honey. I don't know though, don't quote me on that. But this book is vitally important to my sanity. Down there, I've got my kitting kit all ready. I've got a clip on here so I can clip it to the fencing in there and keep it up out of the way of the does. I think we're almost ready. So before we go down into the doe barn and I show you our pregnant ladies, it's probably going to be beneficial to show you the bucks. So when I tell you who's bred to whom, you can put a face with a name. Well, you've got a dusty face. So this here is our Nefarious. He is a blue cactus buck. He is purebred Nigerian dwarf. This is Feral. Feral is an F2 mini La Mancha with gopher ears. He's also a plus B buck, so he's good at passing on really great udders with really great milk, aren't ya? I can't wait. And then down here, this is Havoc. Havoc we've had for quite a long time. He is not as in your face as the other two, but he's lovely. Havoc is moon spotted and polled and also really good at throwing girls. I think last year he had 5 boys and 16 girls, something like that. And he's done that. Every year that we have used him, Havoc has put out way more girls, which is always good. And not just girls, he puts out girls that have been improvements on their mamas. So I have kept quite a few of his daughters. Let's have a bunny rabbit intermission just for a second. I can't ignore this. Excuse me, mommy. There. Oh, you're fine. We just want to have a peek. Oh. Hello. So this here is Christine. She is due first. She is bred to Havoc, so she will be giving birth to mini La Manchas February 5th. Well, on or thereabouts to February 5th. I did not bring snacks. I'm sorry. Can I come in? Oh, Shindy. So when I came in the barn with the cookies, it was like 3 days ago that I did that. And one of our members, Kathy, she said, ooh, normally people feed those through the fence because now they're gonna mob you whenever you walk in there. And they do. You're right. They do. Shindy and Tizzy, they've been the worst. We're working on it. So right here, Shindy, Tizzy, Fury. These guys were born in the springtime. These are mini La Manchas out of Havoc. These 3 were not bred because they are too small. They're actually out of our doe Elpis, who's over there at the hay feeder. They're triplets. So usually triplets they take a little bit longer to get up to a good size, and I wanted to make sure they were at least 80 pounds before I bred them. See, this is what I get. I gave them cookies, and I haven't given them cookies since. You guys are smart. This is not a cookie. Down here, this is Breezy. And Breezy is out of one of our does named Talia. She might be trying to put on an udder. Breezy is also out of Havoc. She is polled. She's a mini La Mancha F1. Darn it, I can't. Come on. She's an F1 mini La Mancha, and I bred her to Feral. So she's due in the beginning of April, and she's going to be having our first F2 mini La Manchas. I didn't bring the cookies. I did not bring cookies. This here is Elpis. So she is mama to these triplets over here that can't get it. No, ma'am, no. Elpis is bred to Havoc. She is due right after her mama. She's due, I believe it is February 9th. Her udder's coming in, see that? This will be her second time kidding. Looks good. We're just checking you out, ma'am. See, here's Breezy. She looks good too. Breezy was the only mini La Mancha that I have that was big enough to breed this fall, but that's okay. It'll be worth the wait on the other ones. So out here we have Talia, is another La Mancha that's due. She's due February 13th. She's also bred to Havoc. This will be her second freshen, and her udder is doing things too. Not as much as Elpis. Elpis is an overachiever. Yeah. Oh my goodness. You're too much. Too much. Right here is Tempest. Tempest is going to be having her second freshen sometime in March. I think it's the 12th. She's a purebred Nigerian, bred to Nefarious, so she's going to be giving birth to purebred Nigerian babies. Same thing with Barely. She's feisty. She is bred to Nefarious. Look at her. Also due in March. Barely does tend to get over conditioned. She's one of my girls that tends to hold kind of a lot of weight. She had triplets last time. She's humongous for being a little less than 2 months away from her due date. So my guess is she's got at least 3 in there again. She does carry quite a lot of weight, but still, that's a lot. And then last but certainly not least, we have Miss Clover. Hello, sweetheart. Clover was recently given to me by a friend. We had a very hard loss here on our farm. We lost Clover's sister. Her name was Calamity. She's also looking for COOKIES's. I don't have them. She is going to be a 2-year-old first freshener, and she's actually bred to a standard La Mancha. I do not have him on farm. He's at my friend's farm, but I'm gonna put the lineage up here. I think his name is Aramis. My friend was really excited about his lineage, and so I'll put that up here for you guys that care about that sort of thing. I care about it to a degree, but not as much as some. I know that she's well bred, and she's also due in March. I haven't really noticed much udder development quite yet. Hi, baby. So with goats, this is her right side. So this is where her rumen is. It's Rugrats on the right. Right? No. How does it go? Yeah. Left. Left. So that was her left side. Megan, I'm leaving this in here for you. So lunch on the left, Rugrats on the right. I was right with my acronym. I was wrong with showing you what side was what. So her left will have mostly rumen. So the part that's sticking out, a lot of that is food. Some of it is uterus. But much of this is hay. Over here is where we can start to see her babies poking out a little bit. I'd actually like to get her up on the stand. Yeah, she'll come with me. Nope, no Tori. Good, because she's definitely at the stage where we can start to feel the babies move. They're over here. She's tucking her butt. We also need to train you to the milk stand, so we need to get you up there. Can you come onto the stand, please? Yeah. It's yummy, huh? Look. This way. Good girl. The rest of you. Can you do the rest of you? There we are. Oh, wrong way. Wrong way. Wrong way. Wrong way. Back up. There we go. Right here. Down here. Down here. Look. There we go. Much training to do. Usually by about 6 weeks prior to kidding is when you'll start to see her first little udder development. A lot of times you can feel it before you can see it. Yeah, I need to move slow with her. The type of relationship that you need with a milking animal, or that is good to have with a milking animal, is definitely one of trust. And so I can go back there and force my way onto her. That's not gonna help her trust me. So in order to start building the relationship, what I like to do is start with their legs. And when they are super comfortable with me petting their legs all the way down like this, I can start to try to go back this way. There we go. Yeah, she's got some udder development. It's so cute. I love first fresheners. It's this cute little poochy thing. It'll get a lot bigger. And see, this is good. This is good. That was a good transition. Good girl. And I won't push it. So let's see if we can feel these babies. So what we're looking for, I guess I'll bring you down here. So here's her little baby udder. And then right in front of the udder, but closer towards that baby side, I'm just gonna tilt my hand a little bit over there and just wait. And I think I felt one already. Sometimes when their skin moves, they kind of like twitch their skin. There's a baby. She's got babies on board. Yay. It feels like you'd expect, just a little dunk from the inside. Gut movements are a lot more, they roll a lot more. Babies, they can roll as well, but they tend to be more jabby with their movements. I'm over here trying to take a thumbnail and I feel babies again. Yeah, she's got them. She's got them. She's also hawking in her feet. Stand nice. Show the people how nice you are. Clover has been in shows before and she's placed quite nicely. She got best in breed in one of the local shows. Tempest, are you jealous? Tempest is like, I'm pregnant too. You need to feel my babies too. Okay. Come on. Yes, much training. Now we go this way. That way. Come on. Hey, have you forgotten? Ooh, ma'am. Wrong way. You've been milked before. No. This way. Good girl. There we go. With my Nigerians, especially ones that I've had for a while, Tempest was born here, and ones that I've kidded before, I can really just tell by looking at them that they are bred and they are settled and everything, so. Yeah, woo, that was like right away. Nefarious babies are on board. And they're feisty. That was good. Good and strong. I love that. It never gets old. I wish you guys could feel it. A lot of times I wish there was smell-o-vision. I don't know what we would call this, but to have you feel it would be amazing. Good girl. Good girl. Barely. Come here, girl. Barely knows the drill. Wide load. Got a little bit of udder development. She does not have my most favorite udder on the planet. Oh, I can't even get underneath of her. I don't think with her width we have to wonder. Oh, there they are. Just as feisty. Very good. So Breezy is not far enough along where I think we'll be able to feel her babies. Very soon though. It's usually right around the 3-month gestation mark out of their 5-month gestation where you can start to feel babies. I'm usually not that great at feeling them till closer to 4 months gestation, and at that point it's usually pretty obvious. But she's not quite far enough along for us to feel them, but we'll get there. There we go. Nope, we already milked. So in no time flat, babies are going to be hitting the ground, and I'm mostly ready. I feel quite ready. This will be our 4th spring kidding season, and we've had a lot of very good experience with kidding. We've had a lot of, not a lot, but we've had some bad experiences that feel like a lot. So I feel ready enough just with my experience to tackle this kidding season. We're ready for anything. I am gonna leave a few playlists here that I can that showcase all of the births that I've been able to attend. I will do my best to film the ones coming up, and I'll see you again soon.